putting your hand up or sneaking off to hide in the back row, because things are a-changing now, as BBC Two's school season continues with the classroom experiment.
Our education system just isn't working well enough. It was designed to cater for everyone, regardless of background or ability. But we still seem to struggle to keep everyone engaged.
Just like goes in one ear and comes out the other.
It's interesting sometimes, but most of the time it's just like, can't be bothered.
We just don't seem to learn that much at all.
Each year, 1 in 5 students still leave school without basic maths and English. Professor Dylan William believes it doesn't have to be this way. A former teacher and government advisor, he spent years researching the best ways to improve our schools.
Smart is not something you are. Smart is something you get.
We've asked him to test a few simple ideas and put theory into practice to try and improve our children's education. It's 1 professor, 1 term, and 24 students in the classroom experiment. This is where the experiment takes place. Hartswood School. 1,200 students and 90 teachers in Hertfordshire. It's a typical comprehensive, one of over 4,000 across the country.
Blazer. Put your shirt in, please, thank you.
Over the summer term, Dylan will try to increase engagement and ultimately raise academic achievement. It's the first chance he's had to test these theories together on 1 class.
It's going to be difficult for the teachers, it's going to be difficult for the students, but I think it's going to be one of the really important things that we do to create classrooms in which every student is expected to participate and to engage and to learn. We hope that we'll have changed all students to believe that effort leads to success. Smart is not something you are. Smart is something you get.
Dylan is one of the most respected education advisors in the country. He has pioneered research on how to improve teaching and boost student engagement.
OK, so all eyes this way. Holly, can I see your eyes, please? Harvey, excellent.
This class of 12 to 13-year-olds is Dylan's testing ground. Their form teacher is Miss Jenner.
Have you given your opinion back on those?
What lessons are we going to be doing?
OK, you're going to be doing geography with Miss Pellett, history with Miss Shepherd, and English with Miss Overbury. OK? So, Sharon, here we go.
It's a mixed ability class.
Emily.
Is it both parents who you're allowed to, like...
There are pupils like Emily and Chloe, girls who always take part and get top marks.
I do enjoy school, but sometimes it does have its down points.
Normally, I want to move on, but I don't get the chance to because the teacher has to work with the lowest possible student in the class, so we can all move on together.
Both Emily and Chloe are in the school's Gifted and Talented programme. Kids like Jessie and Katie find it more difficult to concentrate in lessons.
9 hours of school.
The teachers have to work hard to keep them motivated.
The thing that makes me misbehave or, like, not listen is, again, when I'm struggling and I feel like the teacher can't help me, I'll just decide not to do the work. There's no point.
I mostly like practical lessons because practical lessons you're like proper hands-on and it's just like enjoyable, so it's not boring.
Then there are students like Sid.
Sid, who are you going to bring?
He's not crazy about maths and English and doesn't always choose to take part.
At the beginning of the day, I feel a bit worried about coming into school and I dread it because I know it's just another 5 hours of the day, which I think is wasted, and you'll only learn like 1 thing a week, really, that you'll actually remember.
Yeah, take 2:30 away from...
Mixed ability classes are common in many comprehensives. That creates a challenge. The teachers have to keep the brighter ones interested, but also meet the needs of the other students.
Please, could you write your names on them and I will collect them now.
It's 1 week before the start of the experiment. Dylan wants to get a feel for the class.
Guys, come on, we can't get on with the lesson until you've got this written down. Leah.
Oh, so many people. I promised I'd see them as well.
All of them.
Very good.
What I want you to do, I want you to write that down, OK, that definition.
There don't appear to be any serious behaviour problems, but Dylan notices something he sees time and time again.
OK, guys, hands up then.
Hands up.
Some kids can't wait to take part,
Can I please have two people right there?
while others just switch off and opt out.
Hands up, what are some of the worst things do you think about the stage change? William.
Dylan thinks that hands up is one of the most damaging things that happens in a classroom. He believes only a quarter of students consistently put their hand up.
Cool. See a few more hands, guys. I've got the same hands every single time. Emily.
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 Fed 1,000.
Yeah, fed the 5,000. Any other?
I try to put my hand up quite a lot because I feel like I'm getting more involved in the lesson.
I think the smart people put their hands up when a teacher asks the question, because most of the time they know what they're doing. And like the shy people tend to sort of stay out of that.
Sid and Katie aren't as keen to volunteer.
I put my hand up in class when I feel like I've got the right answer, but I don't do it as often as the other students because there's only a few lessons that I think I'm quite good at.
OK, whether it was a lovely picture of maybe that girl...
I put my hand up in class when I feel that I'm 100% confident that I've got the right answer, because if I'm not 100% confident, I feel like everyone would laugh if I got the wrong answer. Even though that's not the case, really, that's just what I feel, and that's to do with my confidence.
It's always the same students putting themselves forward. The more confident ones, like Harvey and William. The kids who generally sit at the front.
Hold on, though. I mean...
The less confident ones, like Jamie and Holly, sit at the back.
We'll put it here, actually. OK.
Hey, come in, please.
Dylan wants to start by asking the teachers to use a technique he's been advocating for over a decade.
The children who are answering everything you ask them are actually getting smarter. Their IQs actually go up. And there are other children in the same classroom who are foregoing that opportunity to get smarter. So if you're allowing children to volunteer to participate or not in your classroom, quite simply, you are making the achievement gap bigger. First change I want to encourage you to make in your classrooms is that when you ask a question, students do not raise their hands and you choose who to answer. It's very hard to do it at random unless you have some kind of randomization device. The way to choose students' names at random is to write their names on lollipop sticks, put them in a pot, and when you've asked a question, just pull out a student's name at random. They know that
Dylan knows this is going to be tough for the teachers.
So little techniques like that can really help to make...
He wants them to end a practice that's been a classroom habit for over 100 years.
It's probably going to be a mixture of apprehension, because it's going to be something new. And I think when you do something new for the first time, human nature is you think it's going to fail.
And then tell the students that...
It scares me because it's new. It scares me because it's something that I don't normally sort of think about. I have gotten into the habit of feeling very secure with put your hands up, don't call out. It's that sort of, no shouting out loud. And one of the ways to sort of circumnavigate that is by kids put up your hands, so you've got a sort of order in the class.
Monday, day 1 of the experiment. The teachers are armed with their pot of lollipop sticks.
I feel good about it. I just want to see how it works, and hopefully it will be all right.
Okay.
Maths teacher Miss Obi is the first to take the plunge.
Matt, I'm ready.
Maths is one of the most challenging subjects to teach. Comprehensives usually tackle this by dividing the class into 2 ability sets. Miss Obi teaches the lower set.
And if we wanted to write half as a percentage,
it says no hands up except a question.
The theory is that the sticks should engage everyone, even those who dislike maths like Katie and Jessie, as well as brighter kids like Harvey.
The numerator, what you done to the denominator. So
well done, Harvey.
7 by 4, and that's 28.
Excellent.
But first to be called by the sticks is another student who likes to stay below the radar.
Jamie.
This one.
Is it correct?
Yeah.
0.5 is equivalent to half. Thank you very much, Jamie. Thank you, Ryan. Go back to your...
Within minutes, the kids forget the new rule.
Oh, Charlie. Kieran. Did you understand what we did? Can you just in 2 sentences?
He's got it wrong.
Look at it.
As the lesson moves on, the kids and Miss Obi get more frustrated.
Thank you, Liam, but there should be no calling out. Thank you. Taylor.
Oh, Taylor's never going to get it.
What should I do? How can I... Liam, will you stop? Excuse me? Yasmin, actually, I don't understand you anymore. What's wrong? Why have you chosen to be naughty?
Haven't.
Yes, you have. You have actually made a choice. Yeah, I have a lot of issues, I would, because I think I'm used to directing questions to the student without having to pick out from having to pick a lolly stick to ask a question. And I think that is sort of slowing me down a bit. I don't think they responded very well to it because most of them were used to calling out answers. Katie refused to come to the board today when her name was picked because I think she's a very shy student. And Jessie, today when I asked her question, she was like, oh, miss, I don't know it. I'm struggling with pace. I'm struggling with picking out names. So the whole thing is just racing through my mind at the moment.
Next, it's English with Miss Overbury.
How many things can you think of? Which group is going to be the best group? So our first contestant for today is... Can we have some drum rolls, please? Stop. Stop. Harvey.
Sad.
Blue, sad. Anything else?
It's a boy's colour.
OK, disappointment and sad. All right, guys. Shh, shh, shh. You fell.
They dropped it.
But what's showing? Put your hands down. Hands down, no, hands up.
Fell.
You were on the right track, actually. Holly, Holly, Holly. Where's Holly today? Not in, thank you. The kids don't seem to be responding to it very well. They're still putting up their hands. They seem very aggravated by it today. They seem very frustrated.
OK, so what could we say as our point? Shh, put your hand down.
Miss Overbury is worried the top ability students are missing out.
Boys, Sid, can you get some help off someone and we'll come back to you? Can you get some help off someone?
Children like Emily, sort of, you know, your Chloes. You've got kids who really want to answer. And it's going to get very frustrating for them when, you know, you can see maybe other students not quite getting it.
Let's have a look. Katie, next one.
I'm not reading.
I'm not so sure whether I like it or not. I feel, if anything, it's actually hampering things instead of making things go smoother.
So you know that you did not put your hands up. I will ask whoever
In science, others like Liam and William struggle to be patient.
The heat goes up and then it cools.
William?
And then...
I know you know, but we're not, you know how we're working today, okay?
You ask people that don't know and it's just pointless.
What I would want you to do is...
When you know the answer, you can't say it. It gets passed on to someone else, and sometimes it's frustrating when you know it but other people don't.
Like a lava lamp.
Stop shouting out, please.
Sorry. Using my idea.
But my sticks never get picked. So I never get picked.
This is pointless. Let's see.
In lessons, when I wanted to answer a question, my name was never picked out. and it sort of like it made me get a little bit like frustrated.
Any examples, Chloe?
That's weird. No, I don't know this one though.
Oh, finally! Your name gets picked, and
I don't know.
Chloe and Emily are only used to putting their hand up when they know the answer.
Okay.
Now they're starting to find out what it's like to be picked when they don't. Dylan wants a classroom culture where it's okay for students to be wrong. For the first time, every child is in the spotlight. There's no place to hide.
I don't know that one.
D?
I don't know. Liam, C. I don't know.
Harry?
No, I don't know.
C.
Sharon?
I don't know. I don't like the idea at all because I think it's pointless.
Last one. Harvey.
Day 3, and the teachers still don't like it.
Did anyone get, I want you to put up your hand. Actually, don't put up your hand. I want you to, Sharon. It's really hard if you've really just got a student who just, they really don't want to talk. You know, I mean, they don't really want to put their views forward. For some kids, it can be quite hard.
It's clear to me that most of the teachers are struggling with this new technique, and some of them are quite unhappy with that. But for me, this is really non-negotiable.
Dylan knows change won't happen overnight and persuades the teachers to keep going. He pushes on to his next idea, daily exercise. A growing body of research from the US shows that a burst of exercise every morning can have an impact on students' attention and learning throughout the day. The studies show that physical activity causes the release of chemicals in the brain. The result is more focused and motivated students. At the moment, this class has only 2 hours of PE every week.
After I've done some exercise, I feel good about myself because I feel like I've done some exercise and I've done something good, but then also sometimes I don't enjoy it.
I like the idea of PE, but I don't like it sort of because of, in science, if you're bad at it, you don't really have to showcase it, but in PE, you're playing in a team and you're showing everyone how bad you are at something.
I don't want to see that ever again in this lesson.
The impact of the exercise will be hard to measure, but Dylan wants to see how the kids respond.
Last minute, make it a good one!
I'd like to see the teachers saying that the kids are more focused, the students themselves saying that they feel more alert, that they feel wider awake, that they feel that they're able to give their studies more attention. Those are the things I'm looking for.
Sharon, have you got yours? Your slip? Have you done it already?
Dylan asks form teacher Miss Jenner and head of PE Miss Clifford to deliver the next idea. Class 8HJ is in for a surprise.
As of next Tuesday, you are going to be taking part in 10 minutes of physical activity every morning. We're going to need you to be in at 8:30 every morning. So if you're not someone who's good at getting themselves organised, you need to start doing that and maybe thinking about getting all of your equipment ready the night before. We need everybody involved in this. We need you to be switched on, motivated first thing in the morning. Is that clear?
Yes,
Fabulous. So this 10 minutes, you're going to arrive at what time?
8:40.
8:30 with
PE kit.
PE kit.
It is going to be fun though, isn't it, Miss? The people that have
Absolutely,
signed up, it's going to be
absolutely.
really fun.
And I think you're going to be absolutely brilliant at this.
Will we be doing different sports each day?
They weren't answering back very much, they weren't very active, and so hopefully their first sort of session and teething problems through the week, we can get all of that out of the way and they can kind of build into a routine and get more motivated each morning.
So you've got 2 tops and your jogging bottoms.
I don't know if I'll be up for it because I'll be too tired.
Boys, who's going to be
I think it's a good idea, but I'm not really the biggest fan of PE, so...
Bag, you can collect it from me later, so let me know.
It's the first day of the daily exercise, and it's off to a slow start. Getting 24 teenagers into school 15 minutes early is no mean feat.
I think what we have here is the very interesting teething problems of actually getting every single child into kit first thing in the morning. So it's finding a spare kit for those who haven't brought theirs for one reason or another.
Can you give that to Sid, please?
Right, good morning. How are we all feeling this morning? Tired? Well, you won't be feeling tired for long. We might be in about 10 minutes' time. 1, 2, 3, 4! Bend your knees. Hands back to strong arms. Jumping jack. Bigger. 6, 5, 4, 3. Halfway there. 8, 7, 6. Keep going. This could be better. 8 more reps. Last time. This is the last activity you do when we're done.
Very energetic, shall I say.
Tiring.
Yeah. Oh, it aches to sit up
Does
and
it?
to push up.
Okay. And you think you're going to be able to keep it up for the rest of the term?
Maybe.
Maybe?
Maybe.
Not quite so sure.
Maybe not.
So, Sid, how was that?
It was alright. I didn't really enjoy it that much.
No. The difficulty, of course, will be doing it for the next 10 or 12 weeks to make sure that they keep on doing this and keep on getting that benefit. But as a first go, I think it was as good as we could expect.
It's now 1 week since the introduction of No Hands Up. Dylan knows the teachers are struggling and calls a meeting.
The thing that does worry me is then you do get people like Emily, students like Chloe, who tend to like to answer and do tend to know the answer quite quickly. And you can see them getting increasingly and increasingly frustrated.
I mean, the no hands up using the sticks is great in a class where the ability is quite consistent, but in there it's not. I mean, the stick thing, that's the bit I'm not sure about.
You have a student who knows the answer, wants to participate, but their name is never called out. They get frustrated, they get annoyed.
The other thing to say, of course, is that these kids are frustrated because they're used to having their own way. They're used to monopolising the conversation.
At the end of the day, it's also not being fair to that student that is his or her name is coming up more often than the other kids, so I don't know how to deal with that.
One of the things that I like about doing this kind of work with teachers is, I'm looking to you for your creativity about how to make this work in your own classroom. I said before that you're going to need to adapt these techniques to make them work with your students in your subject, in your particular classroom.
Think about why bother to...
While the teachers soldier on, resentment appears to be growing amongst the students.
Guys, you know the rule, no hands up. I'm having enough of this calling out and whinging and moaning. Liam.
Dylan calls the kids together to get their opinion.
One of the reasons you're frustrated is because before No Hands Up, you were used to getting your way more often.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And, so I can see it's an uncomfortable change for you.
Normally, I get frustrated if they don't pick me with my hand up, but this is more frustrating, I think.
Yeah.
Before, it used to be sort of like, for some people, it would be sort of like a laid-back sort of feel in some lessons, but now you've got to know the answer all the time, as Catherine said, because there's a chance that you'd get picked.
Right. Katie, Emma, what's your reaction?
If I know a question, like the answer to a question, I would feel the need to put my hand up. But if I don't know it, like my name always seems to get picked out in questions that I don't know.
Because it's fair.
Right,
everybody gets a go. Sticks.
Dylan wants the kids to persevere.
Obviously, there are teething problems. Some students are unhappy, but is it going exactly as I would hope it to be going at this stage in the proceedings?
Meanwhile, Miss Jenner and Miss Clifford are still trying to motivate the kids at daily exercise.
too easy today, more easier than the last time we did it. You've got 2 minutes to get yourselves into your uniform. Run, off you go.
For some, the early start is paying off.
It's quite interesting because when I'm in the morning, because I wake up and I'm like really asleep, and then when I come here, like I'm woken up a bit and I'm excited for the next lesson.
At the beginning, I just felt like, oh, I'm not going to be able to bother with this. But now that I've done it, it's actually really good. It's got me in a more happier mood and got rid of, made me less tired, sort of.
I used to feel tired and kind of drag myself to school, but now I just feel sweaty and I guess more awake than I used to for first period.
End of week 2, and Miss Overbury comes up with a new approach.
So let's have a look. Emily, would you put her down as still being as gorgeous as she's coming back as a ghost?
Yeah, I still think she'd be pretty because, have you seen The Corpse Bride? Yes, I have.
She chooses 2 sticks at a time. It speeds up the pace of the lesson and avoids putting one student on the spot.
That actually sounds quite nice. Sabrine, can you tell me something? Why did Matt kill her? What was going on? It was ripped. Yes, it was ripped. It was ripped. It was ripped.
The class seemed to be responding.
Right. Chloe and Catherine, which one of you wants to have a little go first? So, what is it that makes it a ballad?
There's rhythm.
Okay. Molly, you're going to be next to get your answer ready. What makes it a ballad? Talk a little bit about what happens. Let's see if we can actually get into the nitty-gritty. So
And who is speaking out for me today?
Miss Obi keeps the kids on side
Yeah, a girl, and that is...
by letting them do the picking.
Annoying. Yes, Chichi.
Chichi, what number must be on the numerator, Yasmin?
Fiona.
Fiona, what have I done to that fraction?
Times it by 4.
Times by 4, excellent, well done. Liam, come here. Come and
I thought that worked really well because I think that there was no doubt that every student was at risk of being engaged, if you like, and that there was a good amount of learning.
Put it down,
The teachers and students are getting used to it.
Sydney, what do you think domestic might mean? Sid, what do you think a domestic servant might be?
I have no idea, but something tells me it's sort of undemocratic, but I'm probably wrong.
Okay.
Some of the less confident kids discover it's not so bad to speak out.
At first, you sort of get a rush of not really liking the idea for 2 milliseconds, but then after that, you the answer just comes out of your mouth naturally almost.
Yeah.
And even if you have the wrong answer, the people in our class ain't the sort of people who will make fun about you.
Even Chloe warms to the idea.
I think the sticks are really good because it gives the people a chance who doesn't usually put their hand up to give an answer, and stop being shy. It gives them more confidence.
Not everyone is convinced.
I'm not too keen on the sticks because if someone doesn't know the answer and keep trying to get it right when people know the answer, or they're just like, oh, I don't know, I can't be bothered, and it's just frustrating if you know the answer. So.
Emily is probably one of the brightest within the form, and I don't think it's not just that she's academically minded, but it is that she's enthusiastic as a student and she likes to take an active role in lessons.
Dylan's techniques appear to have changed the class dynamic. The less confident kids are coming out of their shells, but the top end isn't adjusting as well. It won't be easy to get the balance right. It's Thursday, and the kids have been exercising every day for over 2 weeks.
Okay, so it's 8:40, and I'm wondering where the students are. This is meant to be the start of the day, so clearly it's not happening as quite like clockwork as I might have hoped.
Morning, boys. Couple of minutes, please. Morning.
Yeah, so we have We have 4 boys anyway, so... but it's still, you know, the difficulty of the school day is so precisely timetabled that unless we can get this happening really almost effortlessly, the students are actually getting here on time, getting themselves kitted up and in here without chivying, then it's going to be really difficult.
Morning, ladies. Couple of minutes, please.
Getting the kids to arrive on time is still a problem for Miss Jenner.
I think some of them are getting a little bit tired from the routine of getting here a little bit earlier. So, some of them seem a little bit grumpy. It seems to be getting to some of them a little bit now, the routine's kicking in.
I think, like, oh my God, we've got another 10 minutes exercising almost every morning.
And I'm really disappointed that there's not many of us here, so I'm going to quickly take the register to see who is missing, because I'm not going to nag the people that are here, I will nag the people that aren't.
10, 9, 8, 7.
For some, the early start is still a struggle.
And to those people that have turned up on time today and have had a fantastic exercise morning, well done, because I can see that you've been working really, really hard this morning. Actually, Miss Clifford is really pleased with the way that you've been working, and thank you for your help today, boys. The people that didn't, you have really, really upset me this morning, really upset me. It is hard for me and Miss to get here on time as well. Okay, this morning I got up extra early to go and buy you guys lunch to say well done. So it's really hurt me this morning that I've got so many people turning up late. I always want them to do well at everything. Obviously, you know, I'm always pushing them to do their absolute best, but to me, it was the attitude towards it, really, that I felt that they were trying to get away with sloping up a little bit late. And that's what upset me about it, because they knew the kind of attitude that we expect from them, and they knew that that wasn't on.
Week 3. It appears the sticks are working. More kids are now actively engaged, but some of the top students still don't like having to wait their turn. So Dylan's now got 2 more ideas he thinks will meet the needs of every single student. He believes no child should ever be left behind in class.
It feels worrying when I feel like I'm left behind, because if the longer you leave it, the harder it is. Like, you can't walk up to a teacher and say, oh, 2 lessons ago I didn't understand that.
When I don't quite get the lesson, I feel like more stupid than everyone else, because they'll be like doing the work and I'll be asking the teacher for help.
Dylan doesn't just want one student to answer, but all 24.
Hi. I think the next stage after you've got no hands up under your belt is what I call all student response systems. What you need is one of these, a mini whiteboard. I think mini whiteboards are the most important development in educational technology since the slate. If you want to get every student engaged, if you want to find out whether they've understood something, you ask a question, the students write their answers on the mini whiteboards, and then they hold them up, and you can quickly eyeball the whole class to see if they've understood it or not. It's very simple, but incredibly useful. Another technique we're going to encourage you to use is traffic lights. Every child has 3 cups. At the beginning of the lesson, the green cup is showing. If you want to signal to the teacher that you think she's going a bit fast, you show yellow. And if you want to stop and ask a question, you show red. So there are a number of these techniques, very simple, very low-tech ways in which you can improve the quality of information that you're getting from your students.
All these ideas sound really good, and I'd love to be able to use them all, and hopefully we will in the next few weeks. But it also strikes me it's a lot of stuff for them to play around with, drop on the floor, break, scribble on. You know, this is, you know, I don't know, is there any like particular technique or something?
You'll have to find a way that works for you, but what one teacher I saw doing was when a kid scribbled on a cup, she just took the cups off him. And he wasn't allowed to communicate using the cups. And he thought that was a punishment. So often kids see, you know, this equipment is a way to help you as teacher help them. And if they misuse the equipment, then you're gonna close that line of communication.
I think that what Dylan has given us today is going to be really, really helpful in class. It's somehow things that I have heard of before, sort of in the grapevine, but I've never really implemented for one reason or another. Maybe because I didn't have the time, I didn't have the resources. It was a great idea at the time, but I never really got into it. And I think it's going to be a really good opportunity just to try things out.
Miss Obi is nervous about more change.
The whole training is giving me a mixed feelings because when you start something, some kids are going to react negatively to it. So there is that anxiety because I know that for the next couple of lessons, it's going to be disruptive.
Miss Obi has only been teaching for 2 years. She changed her career from banking when she came to England.
I'm going to give you out whiteboard pens and you do. Once you write on this board before I ask you to start, I'll take it off and that's it. You've lost your chance.
Miss, but we tested it worked.
It works. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
So far, so good. The whiteboards work well and everyone is engaged.
Okay, time is up. Can everyone show me their answers on their whiteboard quickly? Show me your answers quickly. Okay, from checking your answers, most of you have got it wrong. You don't. Excuse me. Now.
10 minutes into the lesson and the boards are put to more creative use.
Yes, no, you can do it in your book and show me if I'm taking your whiteboard away from you. Tell her, put your whiteboard away.
Miss, I'm drawing a picture. Miss, I'm not finished. Miss, I'm not You drew on me.
Miss Obi's worst fears have been realised.
No, it didn't work. Well, I don't think the whiteboard worked very well because the kids were playing up, using it to draw and writing some stupid stuff, which was not what I expected them to do. So in the end, it caused more havoc.
Miss Overbury wants to try the coloured cups. She gives the class a written assignment and gets the students to use the cups to tell her how they're getting on.
If at some point during your assessment you're not too sure about something and you're feeling a little bit worried, I want you to please go to the yellow one. If, however, you're really stuck and you need immediate attention, i.e. you want me to come to you first because you're really stuck, you can't even go on to the next sentence, I want you to put down on a red. I want everyone, please, to put it on the green for now and leave them alone. I want everyone not to be touching them. You're touching them. You're a cup toucher. Leave it. Why is that so effective? Because what's that reminding us of? You'll never walk alone.
Slogan.
Yeah, perfect. So it's reminding us of how the slogan still use it.
What's penned?
Penned means like you're crammed into a very small space. No triangles. It worked nicely because it just stops them from having to keep their hand up the whole time. And it means that I can get to them fast. So yeah, no, it worked well. But I have noticed that they're just buckling down quicker to it. So that's nice to see. Okay, so now you want to actually be looking at the techniques. Okay, so I want you to pick.
Yeah, I did enjoy it because I did feel like more focused in the class.
I think that the coloured cups is a good idea. I think you can get like a feel of what the whole class are thinking.
If I see yellow cup, I will come with
The new techniques are a hit with the students.
If you're stuck on something, you like, when you're writing in your books, you're independent. But if people's putting their boards up, like, you can look around and get help, basically.
I think that the cups do actually work. Instead of putting your hands up all the time, you can just sit there and just wait for a teacher to come round.
You don't have to keep your hand held up.
Whiteboards are good because you can get like an overall view of what the class thinks of the work.
I like the whiteboard Because it gets more, if you think about it, it gets more information down and everything. And also it's fun. I like the whiteboards because you can get your answer like quicker and at least everyone can answer that way. And also it's a bit more interesting than just writing it in your books.
Miss Obi decides to give the cups a go.
Thank you, Charlie. It doesn't tell you what P is. If I'm going too fast for you, you turn your cup to amber. Then, if you do not understand anything at all, if you do not understand, if all I've been saying does not make any sense to you, you still don't have a clue what I've talked about, you turn it to red. Okay? Now, Dean, can you give me...
But the cups bring a bigger problem.
Ryan, I'm going to take those cups off you now. I need it to be on green. And I haven't even done anything that you don't get yet. I'm still starting the lesson. I need you all to do just question 1 first before we move on. We need to get that number that we multiplied by 2.
The students send Miss Obi a clear message.
X equals 12 divided by 2 is 6. It's not 4 divided by 4, it's 12 divided by 4.
Jessie, Katie, Harvey, and many others turn their cups to red.
Okay? Charlie, turn around.
I'm offended.
I'm coming, Harvey.
Miss Obi!
The cups reveal the kids just don't get it. Dylan decides it's time to have an honest conversation with Miss Obi.
Yeah, so how do you think that went?
Not very well.
No.
Because they kept playing with the cups. But it's shocking how they forget things.
I think the problem with this class is at the moment they don't understand what those expressions mean. So when you say 4x plus 3 equals 12, they don't realise that you start with the x, then you multiply by 4, and then you added the 3, and you end up with a 12. I don't think they understand the order of the operations well enough, which is why they're struggling. So...
Okay, I don't know. The thing is, if each time you do something new, they struggle, they get it now, leave it, come back to it after 1 week, they wouldn't even remember they've done it before.
Which suggests that they're not really understanding it, but they are getting the hang of it. But the problem is, as soon as you teach them something new, then the last thing you taught them goes out the window again.
The cups expose exactly what Dylan wants. Miss Obi thought she was getting through to the class, but her lesson wasn't working. She needs to have the courage to face up to that, something many teachers never do.
The difficulty of all of this is that most teachers teach these lessons and they think the students are understanding it, and therefore they don't want to know that it didn't work. It's almost like ostrich-like behaviour. And what many of these techniques reveal is that despite your brilliant lesson, the kids didn't get it. And I think every teacher should want to know about that.
It's 5 weeks in. Dylan has an idea that he thinks might help Miss Obi. He wants the students to observe her class and then offer advice on how she can improve.
When teachers are thinking about how to improve their practice, one of the greatest resources in the school is untapped, the students themselves. Students have amazing insight into their own learning, and they can give advice to the teachers about how to improve. I don't think teachers should be afraid of asking the students for advice.
I never really tell the teacher what I thought of the lesson because they might consider it quite rude if I were to comment on their teaching styles.
I don't think a teacher's ever asked me what I thought of the lesson. Unless it's another teacher asking how it went or how I behaved, but not the actual teacher that was teaching the lesson.
Teachers never ask me what I thought of a lesson, and I think that's quite bad really because we're students and the only people who know about how good a lesson was is us, not people who write books about how to make lessons, not the government. It's just the students.
The idea is controversial. Some believe it undermines the professionalism and authority of teachers. But Dylan thinks that if it's done properly, it can be a win-win situation. Miss Obi is up for having a go.
If you've done something wrong and someone tells you about that in a very good and professional manner and offers help on ways to improve your practice, I think it's a very good idea, and I love it so much because I always love to learn from my mistakes.
That's how you spell.
Dylan chooses several students, including Sid and Katie, for student observer training.
So you've got to be really professional because the teacher has to trust you and has to trust what you've got to say, OK?
They learn how to analyse a lesson, examine how much learning takes place, and give constructive criticism without getting personal.
You need respect, because if you haven't got respect for someone, then you can't really give good feedback about them. And honesty, because if you're not honest with the feedback, then there's really no point of giving feedback, because the point of this is to actually tell it like it is.
Brilliant. OK, fantastic. So when you have your first meeting with them, you can share sort of what you looked at in this training.
Sid and Katie meet with Miss Obi to find out what areas she wants them to consider.
I would like you guys to observe if I give the students enough waiting time to give me a response from the question I've asked. The next thing is the pace of the lesson. And the last one is behavior, obviously. You know, this must always come up, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, behavior.
For Katie, it's a very new experience. Having struggled in maths, she is now in a position to advise Miss Obi.
Or maybe like it while you're teaching, you take it is a responsibility, but then it's a privilege as well for us to be chosen out of the whole form.
For a teacher to allow you into the classroom and give feedback, I think there's got to be some trust, really. So I think it's quite a big privilege to be able to be put in that position.
5x minus 5 equals...
It's time for them to observe her lesson.
X is 5. What is 3x? Jamie, have you completed another one? Are you able to do it? I'm doing it again. Shh. Keep. 2x plus 3 equals... Cross the magical bridge. Yes, dear. Shh. Taylor, you know what to do. I've explained how to do this to you.
There's quite a lot of people with their hands up, but there wouldn't be so many people with their hands up if not as many people was misbehaving during the demonstration. Quickly helps stop students. Good marking while they're working. Because
2 days later, they're ready to face Miss Obi.
So, on average, what do you think? Do you think the lesson was entirely bad? Do you think
the teaching side of it was quite good. It was really good, but the behaviour side of it was just affecting the learning.
Students sort of sometimes seem to be taking advantage of you. And when your back was turned, they would stop doing the work and just wander around and talk to their friends.
I think we counted as only about 5 or 6 people actually doing the work and not turning around talking to people.
So that's, in essence, being more strict.
Me and Sid had a thought, you should get, all the people who had a red cup, because if there's, loads of them who has a red cup up, it would take more of your time and you're running around the classroom. Me and Sid thought, you should get them into a group and explain it with all of them at one time.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
We thought it went quite well, the interview. I think that she took on board the feedback quite well. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Sid. She seemed to take in everything that we said.
I think it must be quite hard to be a teacher because you've got all these things that you've got to keep on top of, do people not understand the work? Are you praising enough people? Are people being silly and not doing it at all?
Now I have realised how hard it is and how much work Miss goes through to do all the lessons plus deal with all the students. So I think I will think twice about my behaviour now.
I think they were very, very constructive in their feedback. They've really put in so much effort into this, and it's really, really useful because they obviously saw everything that happened in the lessons.
8:30 Tuesday morning, and the kids have been exercising for several weeks. The last time Dylan came this early, the sports hall was deserted. Now he's back to see if things have improved. Before, the teachers were driving the sessions and the kids were lagging behind. This time, Dylan finds that everyone has a heart rate monitor and a logbook.
Can you make sure you press the mode button?
The daily exercise has posed some practical challenges, from fitting more PE into a busy timetable to getting 24 students into kit day after day.
Keep going, keep going.
But Miss Jenna and Miss Clifford have come up with a solution. The kids are now measuring their own progress and are much more engaged.
If you've done it, can you give your books to me so I know that those people have done it? Thank you, well done.
Right, Holly from her first session did really well. She went from a resting heart rate of 88 up to 189, so she worked really hard.
It shows that they're interested, doesn't it? But I think they've been doing really well.
Yeah, I do.
Keep it, and I think these were a good idea of tracking it, not just for us, but for them as well.
Sid is still not convinced.
I don't really like the extra PE, really, and in all honesty, I don't really think it's helped me concentrate or anything in class.
The daily exercise might be hard to measure scientifically, but French teacher Mr. Shaw notices a difference.
There's definitely an improved attitude today, and that could be obviously due to the exercise. So they're definitely, the children who have done the exercise today, I'd say 90% of them or more are definitely calmer. Sharon, Jessie and Harvey have come in. They've all sat over there on their own, and they've concentrated better than I've ever seen them concentrate, and not a peep out of them. I think for some children, I think the proof is there that this exercise really can work and can have an effect. I can see that Liam and Harry, when I went and watched the exercise this morning, I noted they weren't taking part in it for various reasons, and their levels of concentration aren't as high.
Halfway through the term, and the atmosphere in Miss Obi's class has
Have you
changed.
corrected all of them? Excellent.
Along with Dylan's techniques, she's implementing some of Sid and Katie's ideas.
If you're on bread, can I ask you to come forward, please? This face is made of rectangle. What is the length and the width of that rectangle? This one? Katie, what is the length and the width?
4 and 6.
4 and 6. Well done. So
It felt nice to know that a teacher's finally listening to our opinions on how maybe how to do something different in the lesson, and it feels nice.
What should I do, Holly?
Times water.
So 18 times 2 is, Kiran, 18, 30,
36.
Excellent. It's 48 centimeters. I've learned so much, and it's just finding ways to making it my own teaching habit and improving on it, because you keep learning every day anyway. But if I just take what I've got now, run with it, put in some more efforts, put in some more planning into it, I think it will be really nice.
Have you noticed much of a change in the students?
I feel like there are different students now. They are more actively engaged in classroom discussion, in work, in talking to their peers, asking for help from the teacher, which most of them didn't do earlier. Yeah. 6 times 2, 5 times 6. Yeah, that's right.
For less confident kids like Katie, there's good news.
Oh, excellent. Well done.
And I know you don't find maths easy, but your teacher has said that you are one of the most improved students this year. How does that feel? Does that feel...
Makes me feel well proud of myself.
Good. Yeah. And is this something you think you're going to be able to carry on, this increased attention?
Yeah, because like before I didn't really know that I could get better maths, but now that she said I'm one of the most improved, I know that I can do it then.
Yeah, I think it is most...
For straight-A students like Emily, there's learning of a different kind.
I listen to people more because I've actually noticed that some people are a lot smarter than I used to think because they've had their chance to share now. And I think if the sticks do go or if they stay, I definitely give other people a go as well.
Who else has got something different from...
Before, what would happen is you'd get a group of about 6 people who would always be answering the questions. But now it's a lot more, everyone's in the same group and it's just a lot more people getting picked out. So everyone has to know the answer.
Right.
It's the last day before half-term break. And just when everyone thought the experiment was running smoothly, there's a new problem. Dylan hears that someone's sticks have gone missing from the teacher's pots.
Really? Which pot? My pot? Have they actually?
Was it the more talkative ones? Maybe I should place my words better, more carefully. That decided they didn't want their names in the pot. Perhaps they felt they weren't getting a say in the class. Perhaps they felt they were being neglected or left out.
I'm very shocked if they did take the sticks out. At the same time, very intrigued. I'd like to know why they felt that they had to take their name out.
So whose name is missing?
Shall we have a look?
Kieran. There we go. No, there he is. Oh, really? That's very interesting.
That's quite devious. Quite clever as well.
Very odd.
The point of the techniques is to engage everyone. But halfway through the experiment, for at least one student, it's clearly not working. Next time on the classroom experiment, the students get fed up with more change.
It says that I have a lack of effort. Oh, I don't care.
The teachers face an attitude problem.
I've got a real big moan to have. You just let me down, and you let your teachers down, you let yourself down, and you let each other down.
And Dylan worries that the experiment is not going to plan.
If we end up building up the quiet students and losing the able students, then this will be a disaster.